Hey y'all, this is a 2008 Infiniti M45 Sport. Today's video will be about rear suspension. I'll be replacing my rear stabilizer links as well as my rear stabilizer bar bushings. And this video should be applicable to all the 2006 through 2010 Infiniti M's, M35, M45, and the all-wheel drive models, sport, non-sport. So I'll get to the video. I'll get to the task. As I said, I've been trying to do more real-time videos, but the first 2 or 3 minutes of this video will be explaining what these parts are, because my assumption, I don't want to assume that everybody who's looking at this knows what they're looking at. So my videos are meant to help beginners as well as just give a guide to people who already know what they're doing. So I hope that makes sense. So your rear system, the rear suspension system in these vehicles is called a rear multi-link, and instead of having like 2 control arms, you could call this an upper control arm if you wanted to, but you got just so many different suspension components over there, and then you've got that pan down there. So the system has different components, and there are many different rear suspension systems you could go for, but our main object of interest will be, see this bar connected to the rear upper link. This one right here is called a stabilizer link. This is your left one. You have a ball joint over here, and it bolts with a stud going this way, and then here at the bottom has a stud going that way. So you have a nut holding those on the other side. And then see this black metal piece over here? This is a stabilizer bar, and I'm gonna go underneath the vehicle with the hopes of being able to show this a little clearer. Yeah, stabilizer link right here. If you can see it, stabilizer link, and it's bolted on this side to your, that's how it attaches to the stabilizer bar. And as I said, on top, which I'm looking for right now, right here, so this other side, this nut holds it to the rear upper link. So the stabilizer bar goes and bolts onto the rear subframe right here, and it goes over the exhaust. I don't know if the flashlight is helping or not. Goes over the exhaust, and it's basically a reflection of whatever's here on the other side. So basically from the differential, right? So this one right here, the point at which it's bolted onto the rear subframe, you have this rubber right here. This is a rear stabilizer bar bushing, which does wear over time. So one of my goals today will be to replace it, and I hope I'll be able to catch that. I chose this left side, the driver's side, for 1 or 2 reasons. Well, one, this is a side with decent lighting. Decent in quotes, because now I can't see anything. But 2, for models so equipped, basically if you've got a switch that says AFS in your vehicle, the automatic adjusting headlamp system, what you have, you have not only the rear stabilizer bar, but then do you see this little thing here? Yeah, you have something else that's connected to it. This is a sensor, and this is a sensor that's used by your car to judge whether your car is I've done a video on headlamp adjustment systems, but this is one thing to pay attention to if you have a car that is so equipped with the automatic adjusting headlamps, right? And this one right here helps your headlamps go up and down as needed. So I guess I'll edit this video later, but for now I'll just pretty much get to work. Perhaps before getting too deep into the project, I should let you know what parts I'll be using. This is the left side stabilizer link. That's the part number. This is the right side, the passenger side, and there's the part number. These are the bushings for the sport model. It does vary, sport versus non-sport. So since mine is a sport model with a thicker rear bar, this is what I'm getting. And then you have another one on the other side, but pretty much the same part number. coming to the bottom of the vehicle, you realize that one of these things that I need to access, this point right here, is blocked by this plastic backing over here. And I had my my jack stands on it, but then I realized I need to deal with this, so I decided to jack it up. I need to just remove these bolts, 12mm bolts, 1, 2, and 3. I did not move my jack at all. And once I remove that, I'll just go ahead and remove the plastic. Okay, maybe I need more horsepower. Wow. The Milwaukee doesn't play. Alright, so I need to just fish this out of here. Out it goes. And you can see where the studs go, the bolts go. One here. No, actually it goes here, 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 and the 10 goes over here. So what I need to do is just pull this back, and then I'll lower the car back onto the jack stand. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go do the same thing on the other side just so I can remove it. And the next time you guys see me holding the camera, I'll just be working on the stabilizer bar and the link connections over here. But for now, I think you've seen what I'm trying to do. Just remove this plastic over here to gain access to this part. You've seen the tools that I needed to remove that plastic piece, but then you had the two 12 bolts and a 10mm. Over here, most likely all you need is 14, and for that I've got 14 deep socket, 14 regular socket, swivel ratcheting breaker bar. It's a pretty interesting tool. You've got swivel joint over here and pretty nice impact tool. And then I've got a 14mm open end wrench and also closed ratcheting wrench on the other side. So it's basically 14s all over, and I'll do my best to show this. It shouldn't be too hard, it's not that much of a fight. What you just want to do your best to make sure you don't strip any bolts, because that's the kind of stuff that could really ruin your day. So again, as I said, I'm going to do my best to show what I'm working on, which gets a little tough when you work on these projects. Yeah, because now I need to go to the bottom. I'm trying to figure out how to show that. We'll see. We'll make it work. Okay, so first thing you see this bolt right here? That's a 14. And what I'm going to do for it, just take my word for it. This is this bolt right here. So this is how it looks like. So this is the top bolt. Makes you wonder what would happen if you turned it this way. Nothing really. Same difference. Unless one of them's longer. But yeah, so this up top, the nut that goes on the other side is what I'll be going for right now. You know, I can see very clearly with my naked eyes, but I'm just concerned that the video's not really catching it. Okay, we're gonna have to make do with that, guys. I'm sorry if it's not very clear, but the things I have to contend with while making videos for you guys, you know? Maybe from the bottom? Maybe. Oh, there you go. That'll work. Okay, I was finally able to get some sort of an angle. This is the stabilizer link. This one here. And then this is the top nut. So for this, I'm coming with my 14mm. Go in as far as I can. Make sure I don't strip anything. Make sure it's well seated in there. So with my breaker bar, get in there. Make sure it's as straight as possible. Then, oh, don't want to loosen that. Don't want to break something. See, that's already stripping. Great, we're in now. I hope it caught it, because when I went to break it loose, I bumped the camera. Okay, so broke that loose. Take this off. Next, I need to come to this side of it, and there's basically two that I need to address. There's this, remember that bracket I was telling you guys, the one that held the sensor? Yep, so I gotta remove that bracket. Yeah, so guys, doing these videos, the bottom of the car is always tricky. Like trying to get light and also trying to show you what I'm doing. So here it is. I have my swivel joints going, and buzz it off. There you go. That wasn't too bad. So this is one. Grab this. Here's a bracket, and what I'm gonna do is just, here's the light. So here's a bracket. Just take it off, hoping the car doesn't get too upset. Can you guys see the rest of the system, how the rest of it is interacting with it? Right, so, but all I have to do is really just move it this way. There you go. So it's not going to be too hard to secure that. So I want to, do you see this? There's yet another 14 to deal with. I think this is going to be a pretty good demo. So let me get my second one and try to buzz it off and see what happens. And that's exactly what I thought would happen. Do you see this inner one turning in here? This is the bar, but then this is the purpose of this other open end 14 millimeter. So I'm gonna set it here just to hold it steady. Oh, I could kind of let it sit by itself, huh? And then, can I turn this by hand? Nope. Okay, now you know. That's why you get the accompanying open end 14 millimeter. And once this is out, the bottom should be free. And I'll probably need to do the same for the upper joint. So I'll set this one down. Got lucky, this one did not get stripped or anything, so that's good news. But as I said, it's something to pay attention to. Bring it back up to the top, and I'm still at pains as to how to show this project. Oh, perfect. I'll leave the camera right there. Okay, I think we found a place for the camera. Now I need to get my tool again. This time I need my extension. I'll see if I can do it by hand, because this nut looks like it's about to strip. Yep, remember the thing, the reason I needed the open end 14 milli? Yep, same thing's happening here. I can't see it, but I know it is happening. So I'm gonna come through the back side. I think I found a way to hold it. And then just go. Perfect. Okay, so I'd say most of the heavy lifting is done. Here it is. It doesn't look too bad, not too worn, but as I said, it was just about time. Let's compare how flexible this one feels side by side with this one. Not much difference, honestly. But I think the truth is going to come up when we get to there's one more, something else that needs to be done, at least on this side. And that, my friends, is going to be the stabilizer bar bushing, this one right here. So let's get the light. Let me work with the other side first. Make sure it's nice and straight, well seated, and go. Here's one. All 14s so far, all 14s. Then here's the second one. Obviously, I should have mentioned that if you live in an area that's prone to rust, do your due diligence and use some PB Blaster and all these fasteners before coming to attack them. So I need to say something at this point. You saw this fall down. Typically it doesn't. The only reason this fell is because I already unbolted the other side. That's why this fell. But then this right here, let's remove this bracket. This is called the bushing bracket. Okay, that's what that looks like. Front back doesn't really seem to care too much. And then this right here is the bushing that we'll be replacing. Doesn't look too bad. This one here is not worn. Sometimes the rubber gets so hard, once it plasticizes, it starts eating into your stabilizer bar, and once it eats, it grooves your stabilizer bar. No matter what bushing you bring in there, you're gonna have looseness and play. But then this one here looks okay. So what I'm gonna do next is, you don't really have to do too much. All I'm gonna do is come here and clean it with a paper towel. Clean this mounting surface over here as well. Just make sure it's good. I'll probably brush this. This is a stud that the bracket goes onto, right? And then put the new bushing on. But since we're here, let's do this. Let's compare. As I said, it's pretty important that you get the right bushing for your application. Since mine is a sport model, I made sure I bought the sport model. And I think while I'll be putting up the part numbers in the description box right below the video, it would be nice of me to also list the non-sport model numbers. So this one right here, this is sport model. It is, a little tight, but not too horrible. Sorry, this is what I was trying to do. And usually this is like the outside. So it shouldn't really matter because they'll mate like that. So first thing, make sure it can get in there. Yes, snug as a bug in a rug. And then also I can eyeball this and everything looks good, but obviously just make sure that this can fit on there. It's pretty hard, which is nice. There you go. It is pretty tight, and you can see this one closes, because if it wouldn't close, it would mean you bought something that's too small for the bar. You got, you bought the bushing for a smaller bar, so that's why it wouldn't close. But if it would close, but then it was just so loose, that means you bought the bushing for the bigger bar, yet you have the smaller bar. That's why you get the play in there. Otherwise, I did my homework correctly, and this one is just fine. So I'm gonna take it off. As I said, my main goal at this point is just to clean it up and Then at this point, installation is going to be the reverse of removal. If you guys want to see it, I guess this wouldn't be a bad point to jump off the video. But if you want to stick around and see more, yeah, sure. We'll basically work the removal steps backwards, remembering this part right here, right? So great. We are back, almost ready to install this, and as I said, all I need to do is basically wipe down the mounting surfaces. Starting with this. So I'll make sure the grime doesn't transfer. And then I'm gonna go down here. You see the stud? The stud you can't see over here, but I'm just gonna wipe that flat surface that this goes onto, this flat surface. I'm gonna wipe that as well. Again, this is just out of an abundance of caution. And then lastly, you can't see this, but I'm gonna go up there and, well, I need to do this. You probably can see this, maybe not. The stabilizer link mounting points. So one is on the stabilizer bar. This hole right here, there's a hole here that you can barely see. And then up top, remember where I had to disconnect it from the upper link. I'm wiping that down right now. Would it cause any harm if I installed it as is? Probably not, but you know, why not? While it's all clean and ready. Okay, so I do have the new one here. And one way I think of it to help myself is that once installed, the split is going to be facing the front, or as I said, this one has to be facing this side, the outside. So this is what I'll do. I think it's dry already by now. Open up. Nice and snug. Well, before forgetting to clean up this part as well, so I'll do that. Hey, now we're getting ready for installation, and you've seen the sway bar bushing, you've seen the bracket, and this one just goes over there. You've seen the sway bar link, this one right here, and I'll be installing it. And you've also seen the sway bar itself, so I've cleaned it. It's pretty much ready for installation. Sometimes when you have a broken link, that's what it sounds like, just clunking in the back. So before installing this, some things I just want to touch on. One, 14mm tools is pretty much all I needed for removal, right? You saw I have all those 14mm nuts. And to hold this steady, I use my 14mm open-end wrench, right, to hold this part. Okay, that makes sense, and it's reasonable that you'd use the same thing on the way in. But I'd like you to watch out for this. It's nothing too serious, but could still frustrate you if you don't pay attention to it. This sway bar link I bought from Nissan, or rather I bought from Infiniti. It's an Infiniti part number, right? Okay, let's try this 14. Nope, won't go through. Will not go through. On the way in, a lot of the, actually not just Infiniti, I think the few times I've bought used ones, not used, aftermarket sway bar links, usually it seems like the replacement stud if you could call it that, the ball stud, is actually a 17 millimeter. So just something to pay attention to on your way in. Don't let that stop you from working. So for now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and install this. It's going to go this way. Yep. This and this. And this bushing right here. So next time you see the camera, we'll be going up. And there's something I wanted to mention. See the 14 millimeter nuts that go here and here? The torque spec is for 41 foot-pounds, I believe. Yep, 41. And then the nuts that go down here on the sway bar bushing bracket, that's actually 25 foot-pounds. So just something I wanted to mention in case you're doing it by hand. Sometimes you're tempted to go tight until it hurts, but especially on this one here, you don't want to over tighten it and break something. The other one, I guess this stud is pretty strong, so just something I want to talk about. It's going to be a matter of I'll do it by hand for a while, then we'll get to swivel joints, sockets, and things like that. But it's just a combination of whatever it's going to take to make it work. Okay, down we go. So once again, pardon me if the visibility isn't all that great. I'm making the best of my situation, I promise. So this one here, last time during removal, you saw it jump down when I touched this, right? Because the other side was loose. Right now, the other side's tight, so it's kind of firm over there, but kind of got a handle on this. As I said, I like the split to be facing the front, which is the way the other one came from, the original one was. So just split and force or whatever. Can't really see the studs, but here's one, here's the other one. This bracket here doesn't really care too much whether it goes this way or the other way. Just gotta make sure the flat goes flat, that's all. Seems nice and secure. I'm doing this way for the sake of demo, but typically if I weren't doing it for video, I just install it first and have it just holding and waiting for me. So at this point, I mentioned in the past that I got some extra nuts from my headers. That's what I'm using here. One. As a matter of principle, I just, on the way in, I try to just do this by hand. And that's it. 25 foot-pounds at the bottom. Alright, to do the stabilizer link, I'll do the top and the bottom. I think I'll just do the preference. I'm going to set the green part up top. Unfortunately, I don't have a very nice way to show it, so just take my word that I'm doing what I said I'm gonna do. Alright, once that's in, swing it over. It's relatively easy, but if you need to fish something in, oh, you can't see that, can you? Perfect. Okay, so since it's a ball joint, just bend this. You can bend it as you please to enable you to feed it in there. Nice. Okay, now get our 14 millimeter nuts. First part is right here. Nice, look at that. It's already on there. I'll use this at the very top. And as I said, pardon me if you can't see it, it's... Oh, you can actually almost see it. Wait a minute. Yeah, just... It's beyond there, but... Okay, it's getting pretty tight. So that one's definitely going to need a tool. So I've been using different kinds of tools, and maybe I haven't really... You've seen me use swivel joints. Right now you're going to see me using ratcheting wrench, gear wrench. I think at the end of the day, just use whatever you have at your disposal. What I try to do is say, I tell you the sizes, and then you make the best of it, you know. So right about now, I need to hold it down because I've seen the other part spinning like this. Well, this one's behaving itself. It's not spinning, but the top, the more it turned because of how hard it was, the stud is spinning too. So I'm gonna get my 17 millimeter and hold it right here. I need to switch hands. 17 millimeter and hold it. Nice. And then use the 14 to keep working. Okay, let's do this again. I'm just checking, make sure that it did not spin out of place, but this is not that kind of ball joint. Nice and snug. So now when I get the torque wrench, it's gonna pretty much behave itself. If memory serves me right, the value we're looking for here is 41. Go till it clicks. There you go, already got it. It doesn't take too much effort to get it right. Hope you guys can see me up here. It's already there. Nice and tight already. Alright, so at this point, I'll stabilize the link. This guy right here has already been hooked up. Everything's good. Should be getting ready to go. But remember one thing. You can almost see it as I touch it, right? Yep. Don't forget the sensor if your car came with it. And now I've lost my flashlight. I can't. Right here. This is what I'm going for. So remember, hook this one up. I did not get a chance to clean this one, but it's not a big deal because I'm just doing it by hand. Okay. And I should mention this. The way this one sits, it basically angles with this is the back side of the stabilizer bar, this surface here, and then this is the bottom. So this one just comes and sits this way. This one butts against the back, okay? This part right here butts against the back. That's it. Pretty much done. Or is it? Yep. All close. I'm trying to see where the nut was in contact with. Over here, you know, that circle kind of gives me an idea. If this car were running right now and I'm playing with this switch, you would see the headlights going up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, so set this one down. And then the last nut. So it was just sitting there, you know, wasn't really forceful. Yeah, I'm gonna use this one instead. So that one looks like it's been stripped a little bit. And as much as it looks a little crooked right now, once I start bolting this and it's a flat surface on a flat surface, it should straighten itself out. Kind of messed with it. I just wanted to see it do it by itself. It's a little higher right now, so I'm going to loosen it. This part is kind of boring. Just basically, since you have the signs of wear, just try to make it match. I think I'm going to turn off the camera now. But before I do that, I mean, I guess don't forget to go ahead and put everything back, install everything back the way it's supposed to be. Plastic cover over here like it's supposed to. And of course, install your wheels and everything else. Set your car down. One thing that I'd like to address right now is for some suspension components, especially bushings, they usually tell you to do final tightening with the car on the ground. This one here, because it's a ball joint, it doesn't really matter. And then here again, it is a bushing, yeah, but it will spin. It's not the other kind of bushing. It's not like this bushing right here, you know? So this bushing will be able to, and that's basically how it works. It works by swaying, you know, and swinging in here. It shouldn't be such a big problem to tighten it while it's in here. It's gonna work out. However, if you feel very concerned, what you could do is this pan, just load it up, or come up here, load up your hub so that this goes up a little bit. See, it goes up just a little bit. You could do more if you I suppose, set the car in jacks and then find a way to tighten it. But for something like sway bar bushings, this is it. This is all you're gonna get. It's good enough. All right.